All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're taking a close look at Executive Order 14-2060. This is a presidential directive that really tries to shake up American energy policy, specifically by taking on the power of individual states. We're going to break down exactly what it says and why it's such a big deal.
Right at the very beginning of Section 1, you find this single sentence. And let me tell you, this isn't just a simple introduction. It is the absolute core philosophy driving this entire document. Pretty much everything that follows flows directly from this one powerful idea.
So naturally, that leads us to the order's stated goal, achieving what it calls American energy dominance. Now, that's a pretty big phrase, right? So what does the document actually mean when it says that?
Well, here's the definition straight from the order itself. It frames energy dominance as being all about national and economic security. And it says the way to get there is by getting rid of what it calls illegitimate impediments. That phrase is absolutely key, and we're about to see exactly what this order considers illegitimate.
And just so we're clear, this isn't only about fossil fuels. The scope here is incredibly broad. I mean, it covers the whole shebang. Oil, gas, and coal, yeah, but also hydropower, geothermal, nuclear, and even critical minerals.
Okay, so if energy dominance is the goal, what's standing in the way? According to this order, the problem is state-level policies, which it describes as being burdensome and ideologically motivated.
The order argues that the real threat comes from states that are, in its view, overstepping their legal bounds. This right here sets up the central conflict of the whole document: federal ambition versus state-level regulation.
And this isn't just some vague complaint. Oh no, the order names names. It calls out a New York law, labeling it a climate change extortion law. It says Vermont similarly extorts energy producers, and it goes after California's carbon trading system for what it calls impossible caps and radical requirements.
But it doesn't stop with those specific states. The order also goes after a whole range of other state actions. It points the finger at things like slow-walking permit applications, lawsuits against energy companies over climate change, and argues that these kinds of policies are what's driving up energy costs for everybody.
And if there was any doubt about how the administration feels, this quote from the end of Section 1 just erases it completely. It's a definitive line in the sand. The message is crystal clear. From this order's point of view, these state laws are a direct roadblock and need to be challenged.
Okay, so we have the goal, and we have the problem as the order sees it. So what's the solution? Well, this next part lays out the federal government's specific game plan.
The whole federal response really hinges on this: a direct order to the U.S. Attorney General. The executive order basically gives the Department of Justice its marching orders and a very clear set of instructions. And the plan is a pretty straightforward three-step process. First, identify all the state and local laws that are seen as a burden on energy production. Second, act. Take all appropriate action to stop those laws from being enforced. And third, report back to the president within 60 days on what's been done.
And the order even gives the Attorney General a priority list, a cheat sheet, if you will. It says to focus first on any state laws having to do with things like climate change, ESG, environmental justice, or any kind of carbon tax or penalty system.
So let's just take a step back for a second. We've seen the goal, the problem, and the directive. When you put it all together, what's really going on here? What's the core idea?
You know, it really just boils down to this fundamental clash of priorities, at least as the order frames it. On one side, you've got this federal goal to unleash American energy and keep it affordable. And on the other, you have what the order sees as states trying to set national policy and penalize certain kinds of energy.
So if you remember just one thing, let it be this. At its heart, this executive order is all about asserting federal authority. It's a direct challenge to states' ability to pass their own energy and climate laws if those laws clash with the national agenda. That's the key takeaway.
And this isn't some 10-year plan either. It's happening on a really tight schedule. The order was signed on April 8, 2025, which immediately started a 60-day clock for that Attorney General's report. So it's all about swift action.
Now, there's an important bit of legal fine print in Section 3. It's what's called a general provision, and it basically says this is an internal government directive. It doesn't create some new legal right that a private citizen or a company could take to court.
And all of this leaves us with the huge question at the center of this entire debate. This executive order really throws a spotlight on a fundamental tension in American law. Where exactly is the line between federal power over national policy and a state's own right to govern itself? That's the massive question this order forces us all to think about.